One of anime's greatest appeals to me is the fact that despite the over-the-top action scenes and the fact that you can potentially kill a man by attacking their life points directly in a card game, some of the core themes of many core characters are very, very human. There are many anime characters in general that I relate to on different levels. I relate to Ban from Seven Deadly Sins on a mental level. I relate to Gintoki from Gintama on a more ideological level, and I relate to Yugi on a hairstyle level. Yugi still has a ways to go to catch up to absolute greatness, such as me. Oh, also, fun fact, I relate to every completely psychotic anime villain, because those psychos are near and dear to my heart, as I've mentioned more than once. But there's only one character that I truly relate to on a spiritual level, that I feel like my soul is completely intertwined with theirs, and that would be the Chazz. I relate to the Chazz on a meme level, far deeper than mere sociological or psychological levels. Whether you've watched Yu-Gi-Oh! Or not, I think you will grow to appreciate this video and maybe learn something more about yourself along the way. Before getting into the meat and potatoes of the video, I wanted to thank this video's sponsor, Kurtzbell, a third-person MMORPG from the creators of Elsword, another dope game that I've fallen prey to becoming addicted to in the past. And it kinda looks like Kurtzbell is going down the same route. As a self-proclaimed anime fan, as well as isekai trash that will begin every single isekai anime ever, this game literally feels like you're walking into an isekai anime. It's so heavily anime inspired, it's like you're taking place in your own wacky adventure, where you can level up, become stronger, overpower your enemies, take place in epic boss fights, and have your very own harem of brilliantly drawn women. Always a perk. Not to mention, Kurtzbell's English dub is fantastic. It's like watching an anime with a good English dub. The controls of the game are extremely intuitive, and the battle system is great, making me almost feel like a natural just by walking through the front doors. Also, the special attacks, very cool. The game developers are always listening to player feedback to keep improving the game as much as they possibly can. For example, they just added a PvP mode where you can have fun concocting your combos and stratagems against other real-life people. Link to Kurtzbell is at the top of the description. Feel free to give it a click. Thanks so much for the sponsor, and on with the video. The original Yu-Gi-Oh! Was a tough act to follow. And in the beginning, obviously you have Jaden as the very sad replacement for Yugi, especially Yami. And as, I guess, a replacement for Kaiba, there was supposed to be this douche, Chazz Princeton. You know, the rich guy that could buy everything. The dude that wants to be the very best, the best there ever was, but keeps losing to Jaden. The completely spoiled prick with a voice actor that probably got near suicidal at times to the fact that they had to say some really interesting lines. And Chazz, compared to Kaiba, was much like what Jaden was compared to Yami Yugi. A absolute failure until the unthinkable happened and Chazz became the greatest character of all time and the greatest meme in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Verse. Here's the story about Chazz, the story you never knew. Well, if you've watched GX, you probably do know the story of Chazz, but you don't understand the greatness of his meme.
Ready, geek? Time to get Chazzed!
And this is why I'm here today. Chazz is the Yu-Gi-Oh! Character I relate to most on a spiritual level, and potentially the anime character I relate to most on a spiritual level. If you look at who he is, he's someone who thought highly of himself. He's a respectable dude. He's a respectable duelist. And despite the fact he keeps getting annihilated by Jaden in duels, because Jaden is superior, even though Jaden makes no sense. Everything Jaden says goes against his core philosophy in life. Chazz is a character who's being pressured into the position he is by his brothers. This rich family that has expectations of individuals, whether they're the leader of the corporate world, the leader of the education world, and Chazz was supposed to be the leader of the dueling world. He has a lot on his shoulders every single duel, especially the ones he loses. And Jaden, a guy who's dueling for the fun of it, who doesn't seem to have any amazing strategies, he just always pulls polymerizations out of his ass, goes against the core meaning behind why Chazz is who he is, and Chazz gets a massive makeover.
Guess what? It's time for a makeover. What's that supposed to mean? I'm not sure.
After being humiliated losing to Jaden, he ends up leaving and finds himself washed up at North Academy. A far more brutal academy than Duel Academy, however, not quite as skilled. He has to climb through the trenches of ice and chasms of darkness in hypothermic blizzarding temperatures in order to gather 40 random cards and duel his way to the top of the new school. North Academy is basically my high school. No, I'm kidding. In my high school, they had bears. For the first time in Chazz's life, while scrounging for cards in North Academy and actually fighting for himself, he is an individual for the first time. He becomes the greatest duelist in North Academy purely due to his own grit, not because of the expensive cards that his brothers gave him, and not because he thought of himself in any way further than anyone else would think of him. He was just like anyone else, except he was the Chazz. He's the badass that's gonna make it to the top, and he did. He stuck to his guns, and he became awesome. In any case, this is actual, genuine character development, the likes of which almost no characters in the entire Yu-Gi-Oh! Series or franchise has ever had. So, I always liked Chazz as a character, especially when, of course, he loses to Jaden again, and then he fights his brother who uses all the expensive cards, and he's gonna use all these terrifically terrible cards, and he manages to come out on top because he's the Chazz, which is a very logical explanation for winning his duels. Chazz takes a backseat from that point on now that his character arc is wrapped up. However, he easily remains my favorite character in the entire GX series, and probably my favorite character in Yu-Gi-Oh! Due to the fact that I do relate to his character, however, on a far deeper level than I would have initially thought just by viewing his character development.
Who cares if he's richer than me? And so what if he's more powerful? I'm really good at playing card games. And that's what life is really all about anyway!
Chazz is a badass butt of jokes that is so good at being the butt of a joke, he realizes he is, and he takes it one step further in order to become the ultra butt of a joke. Now this is levels of meta brilliance anyone could get behind. He also, once he gets to North Academy, starts to see dual spirits. There is a thing in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX that different people can talk to different spirits of their different Yu-Gi-Oh! cards, depending on their connection with those cards, and a hell of a lot more hooey. Now, that's not really the point, because as Chazz was someone who didn't duel for the passion of dueling originally, but dueled for status, power, and that's what was imposed upon him to do, he never had dual spirits of his own, and this is anime, not manga, because manga Chazz is a totally different character. Once Chazz starts dueling for himself and gets a passion, he starts to see dual spirits. Namely, the Ojamas, potentially some of the greatest and most brilliantly thought up Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards of all time, and I am so happy they took a lead role in GX because they are the highlights of life. Now, people don't like the Ojamas. I can't tell why. It's almost like they're really annoying, flying around and squeaking with adding absolutely nothing to any given moment or something. Yeah, right. Chazz does not have the spotlight in the series. He only has his character growth, and from that point on, he is definitely a second-tier character. He doesn't even end up as important as characters introduced later, like Aster Phoenix or whatever, but he's always there in the background, and he does do some genuinely badass shiz throughout the series. If I could have one nitpick in new Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, it would be that it needed more of the Chazz, because when he duels his opponents, they get chazzed. So Chazz it up, fam, because here is why I relate to Chazz Princeton on a spiritual level.
Chazzberry Pie! The Chazzmanian Devil! Chazz! Alright, I think she gets the point. She's about to get jazzed.
Like Chazz, I do have goals in mind. Obviously, I want to be the shonen protagonist of AniTube, rising from the ashes despite having a very slow start, and making my way to the throne room, becoming the greatest anime YouTuber of all time. Do I think that's gonna happen? Well, probably not, but it is a dream and it is a goal. Initially, my parents, who are both very awesome, did not want me to be doing YouTube as a full-time job. It was never a thought that entered their minds, and well, here I am. It's not a full-time job, but it could be. And I realize that I have you guys to thank for everything that has brought me to this point. But a hell of a lot of hard work went into it on my end as well. You're not gonna randomly upload a video or two, they're both gonna blow up, and damn! King of AniTube, it's not gonna happen, and I realize that. I realize that I have to put work into the things I love and get the most out of them. Chazz learned this the hard way. He just followed his parents' and brothers' ideals. By the way, fun fact, his brothers' names are Slade Prince Princeton and Jagger Princeton. Two of the most badass names that aren't cringy at all, because the Princeton family is absolutely sociopathic in regards to raising children. But that's getting ahead of myself. I, like I'm sure anybody else, did have outside pressures, and the truth of the matter is, despite all of that, following your dreams and doing what you love is ridiculously important and ridiculously understated. It's only once the Chazz started fighting for himself as an individual and fighting through passion as opposed to being forced into what he was doing, that is the very moment that he started seeing dual spirits, that he actually became someone of value, that he actually became a character that surpassed the vast majority of the cast of the original Yu-Gi-Oh! He was not a Kaiba clone, and the beauty in his character was we were meant to think he was supposed to be a Kaiba clone in his introduction, but that was all to completely shatter who he was and turn him from a passionate antagonist to a massive meme. The Ojamas that are surrounding him, well, he plays the tsundere act, and he makes believe he hates them constantly because they're always floating around annoying the hell out of him, and my god, am I jealous of Chazz. Do I wish I had Ojamas like that. That would be fun. And since no one else can see them, they're constantly talking to him and berating him, and if he ever reacts, people are wondering why he's reacting to the thin air. It's a lose-lose situation for the dignity of the Chazz, and it's beautiful, because in the end of the day, it doesn't matter that they're annoying. They're people he genuinely loves. He actually has love in his heart. He doesn't get rid of the cards. It's not like there's anything preventing him from doing so if he really wanted to. He puts up with their shenanigans. He gets annoyed by their shenanigans. He yells at them for their shenanigans. But in the end of the day, in his heart of hearts, he cares about them. And they are true friends. True friends are really hard to come by, and Chazz actually managed to find them in this very interestingly dress-coordinated group of ghostly midget weirdos. Now, I am not the Chazz. I am the Nux! And I am someone who gets humiliated on a daily basis due to the nature of my job, and it's the lovely kind of humiliation. The Ojamas mean the world to Chazz, just like you guys mean the world to me. Yes, I relate to Chazz on a spiritual level because, yes, I am cringe, and yes, I have learned to try and follow my dreams. Whether the dreams are cringe or whether the dreams actually make sense, that's irrelevant. The fact that I'm making a video talking about the Chazz, a character with literally no hype in the community that's not gonna get me 1 million views, though it would be sick if you proved me wrong and got this to 1 million views. I wanted to do this because I wanted to tell you how much this character means to me. I wanted to thank you for being my Ojamas because, yes, when you look at the comment sections to an average YouTuber, and I'm not talking about a controversial one, 98% of the viewers are fans of the channel, because if they weren't fans, they wouldn't be watching the channel. So 98% of the comments are, great video, dude. I love you. Wow, that was funny. Insert timestamp. Haha, keep it up. Can't wait for the honest descriptions on the Hokage. You know, generic comments like that, with the unfortunate 1% being, kill yourself, die faggot, your voice sounds like you're inhaling staples. You know, average stuff like that in the 1%. My comments are 100% memes.
Ready, geek? Time to get chazzed.
Hold that thought before you Chazz me.
I get the occasional good videos, and I love all of those occasional good videos, but far more likely than I'm gonna get a comment saying, wow, Nux, great job, can't wait for the next one, I'm gonna get a comment saying, Ojama Yellow, the most annoying anime character ever, is annoying Chazz Princeton. Literally nobody. Nux Taku. Clearly you don't understand the brilliant philosophy behind Ojama Yellow, the most annoying anime character of all time, annoying Chazz Princeton, and how it shows the value of friendship and to keep the people you care about even though they're really annoying close. Yes, that is my comment section, and I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. We actually managed to build a community here. Through us annoying each other in beautiful tandem, we do have a relationship that I wouldn't want to trade away for the world. And you know I'm serious because I said the world, not Zawardo. Chazz Princeton's character arc means a lot to me. And even more than that, it's how he, as a character, is represented in the series. He never has the major spotlight. He doesn't save the day countless times. And despite the fact that he's a really good dude, and he has his pride and anger issues, but I root for him. He's weird. He is a fellow nutcase. This guy literally duels with Ojamas just because he loves his cards, and that is when he's at his most powerful. In the Sartorius arc in GX, he ends up needing to represent Duel Academy in the legendary school duel because Jaden was busy dueling Sartorius, the main villain. Jaden got most of the spotlight in the anime's perspective. After all, he beat this super mega evil dude that was potentially trying to destroy the planet or whatever his evil plan was. However, Chazz had his little victory as the face of Duel Academy, and that was precious as well. Despite the fact that he's ultra tsundere and people people originally hated him for being a hard ass, people started loving him now and genuinely rooting for him, coming up with theme songs for him, epic titles for him, without the epic part. It's him becoming weird and accepting his strange passions that made him a character that other people started liking. It's the Ojamas that annoy him constantly that are his closest friends. And I think Chazz Princeton, more than any other anime character, aside from potentially Gintoki from Gintama, is a character I relate to on a spiritual level. He's in love with Alexis, a really powerful woman duelist, and, well, he didn't exactly take my general approach in approaching women, but he did write her a poem, and he was not embarrassed to sing it in front of his, well, I guess friends, you can call them.
My love for you is like an Ojama. I love you more than a trip to the Bahamas. And even more than a llama loves his mama.
I'm not saying that this is the ultimate approach for anyone to take. In fact, it's probably the opposite approach anyone could take. But that said and done, it goes to show the amount of growth Chazz had through his run. He's not someone surrounded by yes men and goons like he was when he was praised as the greatest duelist, the Kaiba #2. No, now he's surrounded by weirdos that like him for who he is, not like him for where he is. Not to mention the Ojamas. So I appreciate the friends I've made here on AniTube. And yes, it is a lot of work, but yes, it is wonderful to actually do something that could follow your passions without being pressured into making other decisions purely on the whim of another. Yes, embracing my weirdness is absolutely fantastic and one of the greatest things ever. And fambase, I thank you all from the absolute bottom of my heart for being my Ojamas. Now let the memes rain forth from this video, as I'm sure they will, because hell yeah, fambase, you guys are dope, and I love that you annoy me constantly, just like Chazz. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, even though it was slightly different than my usual. Please Chazz the like button and subscribe so you can get chazzed for every single one of my uploads. Of course, you're gonna have to chazz the bell as well, because YouTube's just like that. Link is in the description to my Twitter. Feel free to chazz me there, as well as the link to my Patreon. All patrons are chazzed to the Discord server, and I wanted to especially chazz David Enold, Negus Nogus, Burning Bush, Rise Warren, Sage of Snake, Wilson Fletcher, Team Sparky65, The Unknown Taku, Girthy Worm, Jim, Allison Stricker, The Wolf of Guard, JD Fincher, Q-Tippy, Laser, The Ethan, Ravy, Landek, Kevin McLean, Jordan, White Noise 32, Nasty Franks, Barbecue, Stanley, Ramsrude, Talent, Bestest Eddie Cross, Mitchell Garnett, Miriam Ramirez, Chezzy, Tregreen, Hammers the Great, Ian Martin, Colton Scott, Praise Lord Gidigimisha, Billy Thompson, Serial Flex Offender, Sinon Salve Says, Lord Sasho Maru, Kid Ori, JJ Slaybrams, The Night Brights, LJ Kaiser Wanar, Ali and Soko, Professor Scythe, Divine Reigns, Hexile, Teakui, Skylar Leg, some guy named Bob, Samuel Guzman, Burling Halo, Los Polos Hermanos, Juan Centano, Karma, King Rainbow, Jeffrey Balthazar, Camelane, and TM Philly. Thank you all for being my Ojama Blacks. Also thanks to Anthony Booth, Steelers, Chubbs is the Man, Noctris 13, Large Blob, Elliot Gonzalez, MD, Adria Pika, Soza Nerdified, Everest, The Ninth Master, and Typical Anime for being my Ojama Greens. Thanks to Dark Element, Eduardo Flores, Poozerker, Steve, Muafak, Necro, Sunny Parks, and Maurice Luis Dreyfus for being my Ojama Yellows. Thanks to Gintama for Life for having Hashirama cells and more. And thanks to Christopher Carras for being the man, the myth, the legend. Thank you all so much for watching until this point. I hope you chazzed the video. Have yourselves a most wonderful evening, and remember to chazz it up! Embrace the cringe.